try to downgrade the most high way, but they're gonna lose. I told you, Babylon arise, see a fall. Babylon arise, see a fall. Babylon arise, see a fall. Earthquake, lightning, thunderball. Babylon arise, see a fall. Babylon arise, see a fall. Babylon arise, see a fall. Earthquake, lightning, thunderball. They took us away for so long. Work us so hard in the Gideon. I and not got the pain. Keep on holding on. Work us up on them plantation. Oh, what a wicked situation. Suffering the youth them so long. Rastafari, know, I told you. Babylon arise, see a fall. Babylon arise, see a fall. Babylon arise, see a fall.
Shalom, shalom. We're on Rastafari, Rastafari. Now the Rastafari subscribe. Hit the like button. Can't wait just for people to get in here so I can see what's happening with this live stream. Let me know if you can hear me while I get down. Give you some self-awareness on spirituality. You know, I'm gonna give you some about the conscious and the spiritual side of things. So you'll know, have a good understanding of what it is of the spiritual and the conscious. You know, the conscious, in so many conscious groups, you have so many divisions in the conscious group when it should be just one. Everybody has a conscience, you know what I mean? So you have so many gurus or so many teachers in the competition in the conscious community. You know, I'm gonna give you a little something about the conscious community. I'm gonna give you some 3 things about the conscious. The consciousness is awareness. You know, your spirit is your true essence or your true self. The part of you that has always been, always will be, and always will be there, and it's your own consciousness. You know what I mean? We have like 3 levels of consciousness. You have your mind consciousness, where you're most likely most to be aware of, like, and identify yourself and know the meanings of, like Babylon, about your conscious is things that you know that you like, the fake food, the system, that's your consciousness, you know what I mean? And you have your soul consciousness, that's the soul being, the structure that allows your spirit to interact with your human body, you know what I mean? And you have your spirit consciousness, that's who you really are. All 3 makeups is you. All the makeup of awareness, ego, personalities, etc. How much you are aware are of the 3 that determine how much you are aware and able to truly be in the moment and be a part of everything, you know what I mean? Because it's really your soul. What is the difference between soul, spirit, and consciousness? The consciousness is a spirit. I mean, your consciousess is the experience, the factor in one's mind. It's a mind in the state of being aware. It expands and evolves into a higher self. As one matures with age and become wise, from the child to ego consciousness, while the mind is evolving and transforming and formulating to become what you are at any given time is what we refer to as a consciousness. You have the soul as the highest self, which is always present within the mind. You know what I mean? And you consider being a witness in the consciousness. It remains a passive into a like a dominant unless you're awakening by the conscious mind. It merely watches and witnesses thoughtless, choiceless thoughts and mind dues. You know what I mean? So the spirit, on the other hand, represents who you really are. That's you have a spirit. You know what I mean? That's the presence, aware, and the energy, and responsible to make your mind aware of the conscience in order to become what you are in the consciousness of spirit. The spirit is a context, is a subject of a being, whereas consciousness is in the context of the object of the becoming. You know what I mean? Yourself. What's your true self? It's beyond the body, the mind, that is thinking self. You know what I mean? Is that what's witnessing the consciousness? What makes the mind awake and makes it aware of the consciousness and experience the dualities of life and the soul. You know what I mean? Your soul of the true self are one and the same. That's what the understanding has to be between the difference between the soul, the self, and the spirit and the consciousness. You know what I mean? Because I had one ask me something about what is consciousness. I said the common mistake is made when stating the spirit and the soul. Not only are these terms different in the in the nature, you really have to get with nature, then you'll understand the difference from each other. You know what I mean? Speaking in the pulp of the fruit and the peel refers to the soul and the spirits are bound together, you know, the pulp and the fruit and the peel. Our spirits is like concealed in our soul, you know what I mean? The soul is a mind and emotion of a person. It has the essence of the physical state which lives on after death, you know what I mean? Because if somebody dies in your family, their spirit is catching hell because you're mourning so much. So that's what I'm saying the soul is. The soul is the motion of a person in the physical state which lives on after death. You know what I mean? That's the soul. But the spirit is like the uh, innermost part of the contact that connects us with the universe or the God self or Jah self. And another difference between them is the soul as experienced, but the spirit is reformed, new energy. Time you just descend into flesh. You know what I mean? So when you say self is ego, is a collective part on the impure soul. The self is the soul which is bounded by karma. You have like different in numerology, you have your karma debt, your karma and whatnot. So you have an immoral behavior as it attains to rebirth and until it gains salvation. Although who who we never that never dies, thus is never reborn, you know what I mean, but continues on a greater frame of timeless time, you know what I mean, and last. The concept, like I'm gonna give you this last concept. The concept of consciousness focus on the ability of an individual to gain the knowledge or to share the knowledge. There is a thin veil between awareness and consciousness of the self. You know what I mean? The consciousness is picking up an apple, and the awareness is why did we pick up the apple? You understand? That's real simple, but it's hard for ones to understand what's the difference between soul, spirit, and consciousness. What are the similarities? Somebody asked me. How do they relate? You know what I mean? So how do they really relate? The soul is like the blueprint of immorality, the ethereal, being able to bring light to a consciousness in a living body. You know what I mean? The spirit is the energy that feeds the soul. You know what I mean? And moves the body. The spirit is also a life giver. When the spirit is in good vibration, the soul feels this as a happiness, and the body is acting accordingly to the consciousness. And when the mind is aligned with the soul, it is able to recognize the soul as is the blueprint. The low consciousness is when the mind subjected only what the body is asking or almost absent, but the soul is the spirit are still maintaining the body alive due to the automatic body functioning mechanisms. They relate to each other using energy, which is in the fact low voltage electricity produced as a result of the chemical reaction. You understand you understand what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying, because it's really simple if you can just get your third eye open, you know what I mean, to understand what the one state of being of consciousness is. Although the feeling and the collective of the individual of the people is fully activated of the mind and the sense, and in a waking life or regaining consciousness. You know what I mean? Awareness of something for what it is. Internal knowledge, consciousness is the wrongdoing, concern, interest, awareness, class consciousness, the mental activity of which a person is aware, contrast, which is unconscious thoughts. You know what I mean? So the mind or the mental faculties or the characteristics are characterized by the thought, feeling, and the voltage. The raise one consciousness, it makes or becomes aware to one on another needs, attitudes, stemming from political to social repression. You understand? So the conscious is a subject of what it is in the non-physical part of the person, which is the seat, emotion, and character, the soul. What it is. So the soul is a psyche, inner self, inner being, interbeing, one spirit, and that one often defines energy, intangible, internal energy. Two, the conscious part of the spirit is a function and an active part of the being, but does not compress the spirit of essence. The consciousness is the thought of the spirit, is simply the conscious is a mold, able, changeable, creative spirit. On the other hand, is a conscious of an energy based and cannot be destroyed. The spirit is basis on the individual, while the consciousness is not necessary. The spirit is existence and evidence by the billions who are unaware. So I hope you understand what this consciousness is. If you have any questions on the conscious and the spiritual reality of things, let me know what it's about. Go to the YouTube page, Minor Ross Corey, subscribe, hit the cash out, Ross Corey 76. Yes, I thanks and praise. I really get thanks and praise. Yes, I.
Earthquake like